Welcome back to the Catch Podcast, everybody. This is episode 6.
Woo!
To my right
We made it.
is Kenny. To my left is Patrick.
Morning.
And today we're going to be talking not so much about players, but more so the people that coach the players or bring the players into the team, and that's like the head coaches and the GMs. We're going to be talking about who's on the hot seat and who needs to have their team have a good season in order to
Propel themselves
or
back
not get
into
fired.
just a
Quite
normal
frankly.
position.
We each have 3 players, 3 coaches, and 3 GMs that we could see.
Getting fired
Yeah.
if they don't perform or if their team doesn't
Well,
perform.
I thought we were just talking about if they're on the hot seat. 3 people that are on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Players.
If they are, and I also could see these players going farther down the line.
Just to be clear,
becoming
yeah.
a person
Oh,
on
so
the
you're
hot
going
seat.
you're going further than just saying it's the hot seat.
Yes.
You're going into saying, okay, I got you.
But what do you wanna start with, Colin?
I would say we should start with players. That's a big
Okay.
attraction.
Okay.
So, Kenny, I feel like you always have some interesting takes.
I don't.
It's been me
I feel
recently.
like yeah, Colin,
Dontavian Wicks was kind of crazy too.
last
We're really
pod
still
was
bringing that
very
up.
interesting.
But
I was just having fun.
I feel
whoever
like
wants to go can go.
I'll go first. My
Okay.
people, I feel like, are pretty. I'd say obvious.
You want to go 1-1-1?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
My first person is Kyle Pitts, tight end, Atlanta
I
Falcons.
don't hate that.
Kyle Pitts has played 3 seasons in the league so far. As a tight end, he's caught 149 balls, 2,049 receiving yards, and only 6 touchdowns. Now, he was the 4th overall pick in the 2021 draft.
Highest tight end drafted ever. I
Yeah.
think so. Close
pretty
And
good.
those numbers do not represent what you should be putting
Yeah.
up if you're the 4th overall pick. Kyle Pitts really needs this season to produce, especially when you have Kirk Cousins now.
It's the first year where you have a good supporting cast and
Different
Atlanta.
head coach.
No
too.
excuses. There are no excuses for him not to have a great season. And if he doesn't pan out the way he should, then I think the Falcons should definitely move on.
That means they have an option to take a 5th-year option this year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So if he does perform badly, do you think they decline that option?
I don't know. I'm not aware of how much he's really making.
It's a rookie deal,
It just depends
I think.
it depends if he's worth the money, to be honest.
I think you
I
take
could
a
definitely
chance on him, though, either way.
If he's not going to perform this season, I could see
He
him
definitely has the
moving.
tools to perform, and I think he will do
I think
good
he
this
will.
year.
I hope
But
so.
I think what you're going for is if he doesn't perform,
Yes,
he's
that's
definitely.
Well, I'm just
exactly,
saying,
yeah.
this year you have to perform.
That's what this video, or
You
not video, I guess,
pod.
but this
Yes.
episode. Video if you're on YouTube, by the way. Check us out on YouTube.
But now I have an offensive lineman in Trevor Penning, who was a very high first-round pick, had a lot of praise coming into the draft for his.
He's on the Saints, right?
Yes.
Left
Okay.
tackle, right?
Yeah, well, not anymore. So he was a left tackle. He got drafted as a left tackle. I think he got injured, didn't play for 11 games. He also has some attitude problems.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard
He
about
got a lot
that.
of
Anger issues?
yeah, but I'm not. What's the call when unsportsmanlike conduct? I think
Yeah.
he had a lot of those. And they drafted Troy Fatanu, so that's their new left tackle. So first, he's already moving positions. So he's
Yeah.
playing right tackle right now. I mean, after that, he's reminding me of Mekhi Becton. So he needs to, first of all, not get injured. Second of all, if those attitude problems rise up again, I could see the Saints doing away with him. I mean, he's 6'7",
cutting him?
325 pounds. He has the frame,
Yeah.
but he hasn't showed great pass blocking in the 6 games that he did play. And the attitude, like I said, that could be a very big problem in the NFL.
Like you were saying with him being Mekhi Becton, he's really big like Mekhi is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And when he
that's
came back, he
interesting.
was mostly in jumbo packages as a 6th offensive lineman. So maybe they utilize him more this year, but they just drafted a left tackle to play about. And
Yeah.
Troy Fatano's definitely going to play.
I'd definitely say he's on a hot seat right
Yeah,
now.
I personally like both those picks. I honestly didn't think of either of them when I was making my list. The first thought that came to mind was quarterbacks for me. So I'm going to rattle off 2 right here.
2?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Oh, you're
where
going
I'm
back to
doubling
back.
up.
Okay.
Yeah. My first one is Deshaun Watson. We all know what he has been in the past. It's just a matter of is he ever going to become that again? And I think this season is really the make or break for that, because after this season, if he doesn't perform well, I highly doubt the Browns are going to want another season of that. And if you do,
But who is going to want another season of Deshaun Watson with his insane contract?
Yeah, that is a massive contract they have on him.
So, is it more realistic for him to be on a different team or for him to just be on the bench?
I don't know. I mean, if
or
you're
they
paying
cut him and then take that.
If you're paying him all that money, I would like to imagine he's your starter, even if he sucks. But
I feel like that's
you have to move on from that.
At some
that
point,
money is crazy.
If he's that bad, you can't keep him there.
At this point, though, we're talking about how bad he sucks.
This sets me up very well, but thanks.
Can I say my next guy? Or
yeah,
do you
sure,
want to go?
sure.
Okay, my next guy is Russell Wilson, staying in the same division.
Ooh.
Really?
I don't think he was necessarily bad per se. I just think he has to defend his washed allegations where I don't think he's been horrific per se, like I already said, but this is really the year where we're going to figure out is he still vintage Russell Wilson or is he just average at best? And I'm not saying he'll necessarily be benched if he doesn't perform, but they do have Justin Fields. Maybe he is benched. So
that's some interesting competition. I'd say Justin Fields is probably the best backup quarterback right now, and I feel like probably. That really makes Russell's position like you
it's
really
more
have
of a hot
to perform.
seat, yeah.
Yeah, it really
just because of the competition.
I don't know if, when you say hot seat, I just think of him being off the team. I don't think there's a way they get rid of Russell.
No,
I think he'll be
not.
When I think of hot seat, I think of you're gonna lose your position
for a player. Yeah, you're getting benched.
He could be the mentor for Justin Fields. I could definitely see that.
He could.
But for me, another second year guy, which is kind of uncommon. I've thought about it more because
second year is a little early.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also am basing it off where they were drafted.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
fair.
we've seen some players go insane their second year or their first year.
And we've also seen teams just move on from people after their first year.
Very quick.
Josh Rosen, for example.
Tyree Wilson. Actually, tell me what position he plays.
Defensive end.
I don't know.
Okay, see, he doesn't know. Yes, he plays defensive end. He was drafted top 10 out of, I think it was Texas Tech.
Yep.
Or is it San Diego State?
What team?
Raiders.
He's on the Raiders.
That's why I don't hear about him, because he hasn't been doing anything, and that team's kind of
pretty
lackluster.
Good. But he did have some injury problems, but that's just a reoccurring thing with this guy. And if you keep getting injured, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, we'll sign you to another 4-year deal. So first we have to see him get healthy, and he has to break his way into that defensive line, which is now pretty good. Christian Wilkins is on the team. Max Crosby,
obviously, yeah.
So I don't know if if his skill level and coming off an injury is going to get him into that other defensive end position. And if he doesn't, he could turn into just a journeyman defensive end on a different team.
Rotation guy that just plays every couple snaps.
And maybe that's not a hot seat thing, but he's a top.
I mean, for a top 10 pick, I would call that the hot seat right there, personally.
I could see him not starting, but hopefully he does get him.
Well, I'm kind of staying in the same kind of ideas you, Pat. I also have an edge, but my guy is probably 10 years older.
Is it Von Miller?
It is Von Miller of the Buffalo Bills.
I knew it.
Von Miller, past two seasons have been really not the best for him. I mean, we signed him to an absolutely massive contract, 6 years, $120 million.
Golly.
Contracts just be handing out
I know.
all the time.
I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to find it. He was, I believe, the 6th highest paid defensive player last year. Wow. And he was hurt a little bit, I'll give him that. But last year, I believe he was available for 12 games. He was only on the field 32% of the time.
He didn't play a lot.
32% of the time. His past 2 seasons, he has a total of 8 sacks and 50-something tackles.
I didn't realize he was...
For an elite defender that's getting paid like that, and you're putting up those numbers, you should not be on the team.
I remember when people signed him, when the Bills signed him. Mm-hmm. Everyone was it was a big spectrum. It was either, I think he's going to be amazing, great asset to the Bills, definitely. And other people just thought he was washed. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a clear side of what's right so far. He hasn't been performing. Greg Rousseau has been much better. Who's your other defensive end?
We have Ed Oliver.
You had Leonard Floyd last year.
Leonard Floyd, not on the team anymore.
Yes.
Epinesa.
I mean, he's really just a name now on the team. Yeah. He's not.
To be honest, I forget about him half the time.
Me
I
too,
really
honestly.
do. He doesn't play.
Once again, the big contract may be the reason why he's still on the team.
And if
Or the
we're-
veteran presence.
If we're talking about hot seat though, the only thing I don't particularly like about this is like it's not like he's gonna get cut due to his contract. Massive cap hit. He would never get cut.
We have
But
to
he
trade him
could-
or he has to play well.
Yeah, even trading him would not be
Another
good for your
thing
cap
is
situation.
just
Yeah, but that's what
you're
teams do.
35 years old.
They're like, we have to get rid of him, and they eat the cap, which sucks and doesn't look
When
well
you're
on the GM.
when you're that old, unless you're Aaron Donald, you're not as elite as you once were.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he can necessarily compete with these new young.
Aaron Donald wasn't even that old.
He was
He's only
getting
like,
up
what,
there.
31?
Yeah. I thought he was like 34, 33.
No.
Either way, I don't think
well,
he
his
can compete with
longevity
these
is definitely
like
one of the
these
best things
tackles
about
that
him.
are coming into the league are huge now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think he can compete with that just because, you're getting older.
He
Yeah.
lost his
And
stuff for sure.
He's getting more fragile, clearly. I believe the past 2 seasons he's been hurt. The real idea was why we took him was so we could pressure Patrick Mahomes when we had to play him.
Yeah.
That didn't
And
happen.
so far he hasn't
More like
done
a
that.
dud signing.
Yeah.
Waste of money.
He hasn't done that
But I guess that's what
whatsoever.
all these players are. Anyways,
Kind of.
okay, so who do you-
I'll just go off on my 3.
Okay,
since
damn.
I'm already
Oh,
here.
wait, yeah.
All right. Take it
Another former Bill, Tre'Davious White.
Okay.
You think
This
he's
might
on
be
the
the
hot
first
seat?
one
I
I might
do.
disagree with.
I do.
Cornerback
And I say
Rams.
cornerback Rams. I say this because you just got cut last season by the Bills, whether it be cap reasons or injury reasons. He got cut. You signed a 1-year deal, $4 million with the Rams. I really think it's a hot seat. Not only just, I don't know. Sorry. He's been hurt the past, 2-3 seasons?
So do you think if he gets hurt again, you're saying the Rams are just going to give up on him?
I'm saying the whole NFL as a whole is giving up on him. I feel like that's why I was saying I don't know, because it's different from a hot seat in my mind.
I just think
It-
that
it's a little
quarterback
bit
room is
different.
pretty bad, so I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to leave him. And I think they had a
just-
whole vision set out when they signed him.
I
They
don't
know what they got.
I feel like if he doesn't perform, it's not like he's gonna go to another team, be a backup. I feel like this is straight up make
It
or
could
break. You're either gonna ball out, be the elite corner that you once were, or you're out of the league.
I think Tre'Davious White hasn't really got a chance in the last couple of years because of the injuries and everything, and he was also cut because of cap. I think he would have
Yeah.
been on the team if his contract was
100%.
massive. I think he'll be. I mean, I don't think he's going to be amazing, but I don't think he's going to leave the Rams unless he gets absolutely torched.
Yeah. Maybe.
But so you don't think he's gonna go back to that elite status that he once was
No,
at, where everyone
but I
was
think
like
he could
top
be a
5 corner,
I think he could be
Tre'Davious
a
White,
solid quarterback.
solid
Solid
So, like,
cornerback one.
Okay,
That's fair.
I mean, what? Okay.
I honestly hope so. I really like him.
He's pretty good on a pretty bad Rams secondary. But for me, I have another quarterback with arguably another terrible contract. Daniel Jones. He signed.
I wouldn't even say that's arguable.
Yeah, really.
It's a terrible
4-year,
contract.
$160 million. I think when they signed Deshaun Watson, I mean that was egregious. It was a lot of money, but you remember how good he was on Houston and all
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, he was
Seriously,
insane.
Daniel Jones has never been good.
The Giants were
He
just
was good
desperate,
because
to be
of
honest.
Brian Dable.
Yeah, he put up
And
good
Brian
numbers.
Dable made him look so like Brian Dable made Josh Allen into an MVP favorite. He made Daniel Jones serviceable, and he was serviceable and got $160 million. Now they have Malik Neighbors. I mean, Darren Waller did retire, but they have a bona fide wide receiver one, and Malik
I wouldn't
Neighbors
call
is.
it bona fide.
I think Malik Neighbors is probably
Malik Neighbors has been getting a lot of media attention right now.
I wouldn't
for
really-
all the catches he's doing.
He's
looking really nice.
You
in
can't
the
guarantee
Giants
it from a
uniform.
rookie, though. That's all
Okay,
I'm saying.
well then-
That's all I'm saying.
If he's not on the hot seat this year, I can guarantee he'll be on the hot seat next year by
Yeah,
far.
100%.
He hasn't performed ever, and they're on a Giants team that just let their best running back go. So
Yeah.
after that, they could be like, you know what? Maybe we just restart everything. Keep
Last
Andrew
year-
Thomas, keep the defense, but new quarterback.
Last year, I felt kind of bad for Daniel Jones. I believe he only played 4 games, and in those games, he looked awful. I think he threw for, I don't exactly remember. I think it was either 4 interceptions or 6 interceptions.
Nothing
and
good.
the touchdowns were next to nothing.
And how much worse is he going to be without Saquon?
I know.
Like it's
their
not like
offense,
they got better.
I feel like their offense really isn't helping his situation. But I also think it's not one of those situational things where
Yeah, 2
he's not good
touchdowns,
because
6
of his
picks.
team. I feel like he's just not good in general.
I mean, the Kyle Pitts thing that you were talking about, how he has a good team now and he has to prove
Yeah.
himself. Daniel Jones doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
He's
So
out of excuses. Though,
maybe,
at this point.
maybe, no, what? Maybe Daniel Jones is amazing, and he's gonna get cut
Yeah.
because his team sucks. But I don't think so.
This
I don't
league,
think anyone
this
agrees.
league
not.
just moves by so fast on people. You
especially
really have to look
quarterbacks.
good.
That's crazy. He was pick
Yeah.
6. Wow.
Colin, you want to finish up our players
Yeah,
here?
this is my
He's
first.
never had his best season was his rookie year. Wow.
Well, I'm gonna say my first non-quarterback, and you guys probably didn't. You guys probably might look at me a little bit weird when I say this, but it's coming from my favorite team, so I think I have a fair reason to say this, and that's Christian Watson.
Really?
I'm not saying he's.
What?
I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means.
Hot
and
seat?
Yes,
I don't know
but
about
mostly
hot
because
seat.
of injuries.
This is crazy.
Mostly-
What was it? His hamstring?
Yes, and I
yeah,
have a
but
story
the other
to tell
guys,
about it.
before they were injured, they weren't performing. Christian Watson has been.
I feel like I know what you're gonna tell me.
Okay, so he came out this offseason. The reason for his hamstring injuries is his left hamstring
Yeah, I
is
saw
20% bigger than his right hamstring. So don't ask me how or why, but they fixed it. And all I'm saying is he hasn't really been able to play a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if he can play a full season, sure. But if he's just gonna be another one of those players where you get 6-7 games out of him and then you're done,
Like
I think that's
Sammy Watkins.
yeah, I think that's valid to be a hot seat if he's not playing. And I'm not saying he's gonna be cut. I'm just saying they're gonna lose interest in him, and then other people will start getting targets because specifically Jayden Reed maybe. Just because, like, if you're not playing, they can't rely on you.
Dontavion Wicks.
I have to say,
maybe.
I disagree fully.
Fully? Okay.
I think Christian Watson probably will have a better year than he did last year.
I don't know.
I'm mostly
And
talking
I
about
think
the
he's-
injuries.
I know, but I think he's going to separate himself. And the injury...
I mean, don't get me wrong.
He's a good wide... Like,
He just seems like a deep threat in my mind.
yeah, but
He's fast.
that's
he's
all
got
I've
Jordan
seen
Love,
out of
who's a
him.
very good quarterback, and he can have a good year. I mean, there's deep threats in the league that have amazing years that only do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is a deep threat, and he's the best at it, and probably one of the best receivers. But now on to coaches. I would like to take this one because,
Okay.
I mean, he's your old coach, Mike McCarthy
I was gonna do
of the
Won us
Cowboys.
the Super Bowl.
Won the Packers the Super Bowl, but hasn't done jack with the Cowboys, at least in the playoffs.
Yeah. I was gonna
But
say in the regular season they look
when you
good.
have that stacked team every single year and you perform every single year, and then your coach screws up in the playoffs repeatedly, I mean, Jerry Jones has lost his patience.
Yeah.
Man's probably gonna fall over and die if they choke in the playoffs again. And Mike McCarthy's kind of like an old school coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't. I mean, they lost Kellen Moore, right?
Yeah. I
So-
believe
I think it's his year to prove it. He has to manage the team a lot more. But I could easily see him fired. It's one of those things where, like, he's not bad, but he's not performing
So,
super well.
Question: are you looking when you say hot seat? We all know the Cowboys are probably going to be pretty good in the regular season. Are you specifically talking about
We've
the
seen
playoffs?
teams be good and fire the coach and fire their team.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, does he need to prove himself in the playoffs or just
They
in
need
general?
the Cowboys roster, how it's looking, they need to make it to the NFC Championship.
Or
I'd
else
agree.
you're saying he should be basically fired.
Yeah,
I'd agree
Okay.
that their
Because
team is very good.
Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb were amazing last year. That defense is pretty damn good. Offensive line's been amazing. You can't, I mean, if they want to get rid of Dak Prescott instead of Mike McCarthy, be my guest, but they're going to blame it on someone. It's probably going to be him.
The Cowboys
I
are in an
agree.
awful position right now.
Yeah.
They have to win this year. They actually do.
Yeah.
Dak's on a contract year. CeeDee Lamb is on a contract year. Micah Parsons is on a contract year. They can only
awful.
sign 2 of them because of how big the market's going right now.
Low key, might be Micah going by.
It might honestly be Micah.
Can you go over the cap limit like you can in the NBA if you have like...
Not by a lot, I don't think.
I don't know.
There's
Probably be-
penalties.
No, it'll probably be 2 contracts and then
Yeah.
a franchise tag.
I mean,
but who is your coach? Either one.
I'll
Mine's
go.
controversial.
Okay, you want me to go first then?
Sure, go
Okay, well, I'm going to rattle off 2 here because I'm going to be transparent. I had Mike McCarthy too, so I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay.
My other one is Matt Eberflus of the Chicago Bears.
Stole my
Ooh.
idea, man.
So
That was another
we
one?
both
Yes.
have
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
well, anyway, my reasoning for that, you can say yours if you want after, but my reasoning is that their GM just put together this stacked roster, and beforehand, the Bears haven't been great, which is understandable because their roster wasn't great, But now you have the chance to like really prove it. And even before this season, like people were already like it was being discussed if he should be gone or not. And they just happened to let him stay another year. So for all we know, he could have already been fired last year. But he got an extra year, so this is really his prove-it year. You have the number 1 overall draft pick. Can he develop him? You have this amazing wide receiver core. Can you utilize them? And if he doesn't, he's just straight up getting fired.
That kind of ties into one of my people. I'm jumping past the guy I was saying that was kind of controversial because this guy is not controversial at all. Pat, you're very familiar with him. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator of the Jets. He should not have gotten
He's only
re-signed.
there because Aaron Rodgers.
They tried to move on from him. I've seen many articles saying the Jets have been shopping, trying to find someone to replace him.
It's also the fact that Aaron Rodgers is like, he's kind of like LeBron. He has a lot of big say in that team. And if I was the Jets, I wouldn't fire my QB's best friend, basically.
Definitely not. But with what that offense should not have looked that awful. They were 31st in yards per game, 30th in points per game, 23rd in rushing yards per game, 29th in passing yards per game. That offense should not have looked bottom 5.
I disagree in that.
I don't think Zach Wilson's that bad. I don't think Zach Wilson.
Shut up.
Zach Wilson's bad, but I don't think Zach Wilson gives you that low of numbers.
Zach Wilson does give you that.
Oh my God, who do we have? All right, Breece Hall.
I feel like Nathaniel Hackett was screwing.
Breece Hall literally. All right, whatever.
Breece Hall looked good. Yes.
Okay, Nathaniel Hackett sucks. I agree with you. But unless we had an amazing offensive coordinator, we weren't going to look good.
Either way, in general, Nathaniel Hackett, when he was the coach of the Broncos, everyone knew he didn't deserve that position once they saw what he was doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to move on to another guy, and this is my hot take. Dave Canales. Do any of you know who he is?
I've heard of it. Is he the Bucs guy?
Panthers head coach. He was on the Bucs.
That's
offensive
why I
coordinator.
thought of him.
He just got on the Panthers, and this is a really I wouldn't say hot take. It's not like an interesting one, but he's getting a ton of high praise from all these players, scouts, coaches, everyone in the media. But the reason I'm saying he's on a hot seat is because the Panthers have been through so many coaches in the past 2 years, and they haven't given anyone, any shots at like staying more than a year. I mean, Frank Reich, sure, their offense was bad, and I don't think the offense is that good this year. So I feel like if you're gonna just continue the trend, I feel like they're gonna move on from Dave Canales.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know about Dave Canales getting fired in his first year.
They did it to Frank Reich. They've done it to several
Reich is
coaches.
They practically signed him to be a placeholder for a next coach. Dave Canales, they did a bunch of research on him. They interviewed him multiple times.
They do that with every coach.
Yeah, but no, think about it. Now he's coming into a team where you have a amazing prospect in Bryce Young, and you can start building a culture from the ground up with a guy that's not Frank Reich, who's not like an old school.
One thing I think that's going to save him is the Panthers do have a new GM, and their GM has been with the Panthers organization, I believe, for the past 20 years. So that's a good sign.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure the statistic was the Panthers have had 9 new coaches over the past 2 years.
Oh my God.
2 years.
Not head coaches. He just means in general.
Coaches in general.
Yeah. Okay, well that's also because when you fire your head coach, they have their own staff.
New regime.
Okay, but for me, I'm a Jets fan. This kind of stinks because I love this guy. Robert Saleh.
Wow. He was going to be on my list.
Bob Saleh.
That surprises me, to be honest.
First of all, his first thing I want to talk about is he is a very, very, very good defensive coach. Amazing.
Yeah.
He, not even just the football part of it, the way he energizes guys, it's like he's the 12th guy in the field, basically.
Yeah.
But on offense, he really, first of all, he doesn't know what he's doing. And second, he doesn't take control like a head coach should. He lets our crappy offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, basically run the offense. I mean, he's an offensive coordinator. I know that. That's what they're supposed to do. But when you're in a head coach position, you overrule them. And he never used that. And he's just not... He's not a very, ambitious guy. When good things happen, he's like, yeah. But when bad things happen, he's like, it's okay, guys. We'll get him next time. Yeah. I think he just needs to change the culture a little bit and maybe just take more control.
So his mindset is really your issue with him, you think?
Yeah, I just don't like the way some of the things he does. Like, his interviews are really... With Aaron Rodgers, he missed a day in training camp this year. And he said all the wrong things you could have said. He could have just been like, oh, yes, he was excused, blah, 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 blah. But he brought up how they had to fine him and all that. Like, why do you do that about your star quarterback?
Yeah, that does seem unnecessary.
I think it's just I think we'll be good this year, but if we're not, I could see him getting fired before Joe Douglas.
Well, Colin, how about you give us your 3?
Well, my 3rd, I don't think you're really going to like this one, but I don't think it's all that crazy of a take. It's Sean McDermott of, obviously, the Buffalo Bills. Not crazy.
Oh my God, I knew one of you was gonna do him, and it
well,
actually
because
makes me mad.
if you think about it,
crazy.
he's been. I think he's been on the proverbial hot seat.
He's gonna get scapegoated, and the Bills are very frustrated with being like the best offense in the last 5 years.
He's been there for a while, and I feel like the past.
He broke our drought.
I know,
you
but
can argue that he's a good head coach, and I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
But time management is kind of iffy, and he's gonna get scapegoated.
13 seconds.
Okay. I don't blame 13 seconds on him. I blame
I don't
on Leslie
either. I
Frazier.
just thought it was a funny joke.
He was doing 2 jobs last year, which I do think was kind of not needed. It's really unnecessary. I'm pretty sure. I feel like we got a defensive coordinator. I don't necessarily remember, but last year I feel like that also kind of made like just him not look as good because you're doing 2 jobs. You're stressing about one thing, and then you got to stress about the whole team. I don't know. I feel like we definitely should keep giving him shots. I feel like he's done a lot for us.
I don't think I think he's been good, but I don't think he's been great. And at some point, if you want the Bills to win a Super Bowl,
one of the things that you can have a very good team. That's what the Bills have had the past couple of years. But you need an excellent head coach to get you over that, divisional round.
I think he's just average at best, and the Bills are finally going to realize that and just be okay. We need somebody better, even if he's good.
I mean, I don't disagree with you guys. He really hasn't gotten us over like that playoff hump to the Super Bowl. I mean, we always lose to the Chiefs. That was a voice crack there. Wow. But I just really like the guy.
I could see
He's done so much for the team.
Yep, he'll have a going away video and everything, but maybe he won't be on the team.
Who's your 3rd?
My 3rd, we're staying in New York. We're going to Brian Dable. We've covered all 3. We covered all 3.
That's kind of
Brian Dable for me. This is me personally. I love Brian Dable. I think he's a great coach. I think he was a great coordinator for the Bills.
I would be really mad if he got fired.
Me too.
I would too. I don't think he deserves to be fired. But what I'm saying is the Giants haven't looked as nice as they should have, and if they don't look good this year, it really doesn't look good on him.
I think they trust him with the
New York. New York is just such a big market.
Bright lights.
You need New York's teams to look good.
Yep, that's why the Jets are going to do
that. And that's why I think they might move on from Brian Dable. I don't think they should, but I feel like they might.
I see Sean McDermott getting fired before Brian Dable.
Me too.
My opinion. But now on to the GMs. First guy I want to talk about, Trent Baalke.
Let's make it quick.
General manager of the Jaguars. Jaguars love to spend money in free agency. Like on random people. Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, signed Darius Williams last year. I think he's just trying to just grab as many players as he can and build around Trevor Lawrence, who they just overpaid for the biggest.
They gave him a huge contract before he's really proven himself.
If that backfires, that could be a reason he's gone.
Oh, definitely.
But the way that he spends money and the people he gives it to is kind of silly, in my opinion. And
it's a win now attitude.
And the Jaguars haven't been that explosive team that you're like, oh, we're playing the Jag. I mean, they're good, but anytime they could lose to a random team.
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle one off my checklist. I also have him, Trent Baalke of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm staying with the Giants. I have Joe Schoen.
Ooh.
Yep, I don't think they're really.
You think both of them will get fired?
No, I'm saying they're on the hot seat. That doesn't mean they're gonna get fired.
But
Joe Schoen for me, I don't feel like he's doing.
Who's more likely to if they
Joe
suck?
Joe Schoen.
I agree. With
he's
that.
not giving Brian Dable the pieces he needs to make a good offense, which
Especially,
is what I think.
Letting your running back go.
They didn't even offer him.
You can't
not
let
even an
Saquon
offer.
go. He was that offense
and
entirely.
They didn't even try. Not even a single.
And
offer.
you don't replace him either. I don't
Singletary?
remember. It might have been Devin Singletary that they replaced him with. That's not enough.
Yeah, probably not.
That is not enough. That role that Saquon was playing, I don't really think anyone can replace that besides Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I think some of the GMs nowadays have they're trying to like wait it out and let the team form themselves.
You have those
But
GMs
when
and you
you-
have the ones that are just
Yeah,
like you
Trent
said,
Baalke,
where they're
going
just
all
going
out,
all out,
balls to
spending
the
all
wall.
money.
Another guy I want to talk about is Andrew Barry, who is the GM of the Cleveland Browns,
Okay.
which they're a good team. They're a very good team. I also think that the expectations they're not going to fire Kevin Stefanski. He's their best
Definitely
coach they've
not.
ever had. And when things go south this year with Deshaun Watson, they're going to probably have someone to blame it on. And maybe it's not this year, but once they're like slowly declining, they're going to fire. He's been there for a long time, and I think that's just the way the NFL is today. When you're like
It's a
on
fast
the
market.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and there's a lot of good other general manager
there's so
minds
many people
around.
that can just take your job like that.
Oh,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Like the San Francisco 49ers have had like 1 billion assistant coaches become head coaches.
I'll
ahead.
go next.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah, go ahead.
we ju-
We just said at the same time.
My
That's a little
turn.
weird.
I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but I'm gonna preface this by saying
Is it the Vikings?
one?
no.
Oh.
It's
Oh.
Tony Fontenot of the Falcons. I'm more so predicting for the future of him being on the hot seat, but obviously when you take Michael Penix, the most controversial draft pick this year by far, if that doesn't work out in the next 3 to 4 years, that was solely his decision. I
And
would
you have
imagine.
the owner just looking at you.
Yeah, the
like,
owner
what
looked at
was
him
that
and
decision?
I mean, if that quarterback doesn't pan out, but also the contract you signed Kirk Cousins to, if that doesn't work out, if Kyle Pitts doesn't work out, who you drafted 4th overall,
You're just doing too much.
yeah, I mean all these draft picks and they're not panning out, and then you're giving out these contracts like Kirk Cousins, pretty massive contract for 4 years when he's already old. Like he has so many reasons for his team to perform, and if they just don't, then quite frankly it's his fault.
They definitely, yeah. For me, I have Mickey Loomis of the Saints now. He's been there, I believe, for 20-something years. I personally just don't think he's doing enough for the team when you have Derek Carr as your potential starting quarterback. I don't think Spencer Rattler should be a starter right now. I feel like he's definitely someone you have to develop, even though he's a little on the older side.
I think they trust him though. I don't know. Those are one of the teams where they're gonna everything could fall down.
I'll give him credit where it's due.
He's had Drew
really
Brees,
helped
though.
him with cap issues. Like the Saints.
That is true.
the
I forgot about
Saints
that
have
part.
been what?
Yeah, the Saints were
Negative
very-
60 million in
Absolute
cap. He's
cap
done a
hell.
great job every season keeping him above it.
I didn't even think about that.
I don't know. Maybe that's another reason why he should be fired. Because where's that cap going?
True.
What
True.
player
It's
should
his
that
fault
be going to?
It's also his fault they were in that much of a cap situation there.
Yeah,
to begin with.
definitely.
Finally, this one I think is actually a little bit out of the. It's pretty hot take. Chris Ballard, he's the GM for the Colts. The Colts are an extremely young team. They went 9-8
They're on
last.
the up right now.
Yeah. I know they're on the up. Team's doing good. Their head coach Jonathan. No, it's not Gannon. Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
He's really good. Obviously, the Eagles have like a good coaching staff where a bunch of coaches went to coach different teams. But Ballard has 0 division championships in 8 years. And maybe the expectations aren't going to be that high right now. But in the next year, when the Colts maybe become a little better, I think the expectations are going to be through the roof.
Yeah.
And they're not going to fire Shane Steichen.
That division.
They might.
And Anthony Richardson is so young, so maybe they bring in a new guy to work with him that'll be this is the GM that I picked, something like that.
That division's just getting so tough so fast with the Texans
And I
becoming
just think
really
the Colts
solid.
team is really, really young, so it's probably going to take... He's been very good at drafting, but there's always that guy that gets fired that you're like, that's kind of strange.
My final GM is George Patton of the Broncos. The Broncos just haven't looked good the past few years. That's all I really have to say. I mean,
Not much to say there, really.
they don't have weapons at all.
They don't have anything.
in
really.
any department.
They have
besides-
Pat Surtain, but
Pat
Peyton
Surtain,
Manning
Justin
is the only good
Simmons.
thing, and they're still holding on to it.
oh yeah, that's for sure. My last guy is Joe Ortiz of the Chargers. I'm not sure if that's how you
Ooh,
pronounce it.
Really?
Of the Chargers, yeah.
You really think...
I mean,
Why do you say that?
they're on, specifically speaking, their offense is on the decline. They have a great quarterback. He's completely failed the well, I wouldn't say completely, but the coaching has obviously failed them, but also as a general manager, they should be doing a lot better than they were.
Definitely the
in
way they
past.
managed the cap space wasn't done great. I just don't admire the way that you just cut every good player on your team.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Like,
making my
can't you-
argument for me, but
One of the things that Joe Douglas... Okay, well, no, I'll let you talk.
Why?
I agree with... I mean, I kind of agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how long he's been there and exactly how much of it is
I'm
his
pretty
fault,
sure
but
he's...
I don't like the way he was just so quick to be like, okay, bye Mike Williams, bye Keenan Allen, bye.
I'm pretty sure he's been there for, this year. I think he just got fired. I think he just got hired, to be honest.
Okay, well, I mean, the turnaround is pretty quick. If you're not cutting it, you're not
Yeah.
cutting it, so.
All
That is the thing when you get hired to a good team.
Let's move on to
But
zero
I don't know,
to
first
hero.
year. That's crazy.
It's possible. Okay, so we're going to talk about our zeros first. As always, should I go first? You want me
It's
to?
up to you.
I'll go first. Mine might be a little bit controversial.
Yes.
I haven't-
You got it. Good job.
I haven't heard many people's opinions on this, so I don't know, but it's the Christian McCaffrey Madden cover. I'm not a big fan personally. It's just because he's a running back, and no hate towards running backs. It's always like a quarterback or a receiver, and it's just like...
I just thought because the thing is terrible.
Well, that too. Trust me, that
Joe
too.
Ortiz just got hired.
Okay. Either way, just
fine.
forget about it then. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Well, no, it's still valid. I mean,
I don't think someone's getting moved off their first year.
No,
Either way,
but-
we're going
okay.
on a tangent.
okay.
Christian McCaffrey, keep going.
Yeah, I don't like the cover at all, and I'm not sure
To be honest,
what the
I'm
public
not high
opinion
on the
is.
game at all this year.
The
With
game
college
itself?
football coming out, I don't
Yeah.
think I'm going to be buying Madden.
I'm gonna buy it. I don't know how much I'm gonna play it though.
Yeah. My loser are the Celtic fans out there. I just saw
Definitely
something.
not me.
Not you. You're not a true Boston Celtic fan.
Wow.
No, not
That's
like
crazy.
I've only
Like,
been
oh,
watching since like
No,
fifth
no.
grade.
I mean like one of those fans that
Crazy.
like they're die-hard fans.
I only
they
have
will
Jason
they will
Tatum's jersey
cuss you
hanging.
out. They cuss out
Oh,
all
I
the
see what you
players.
mean.
Last night,
Solid 42 points.
Last night, the
something like
Dallas Mavericks won. Derek Lively made his first career three-pointer. And in the press conference, he didn't give a typical response. He said, no, that shot was like for my mom. She just passed away. And the responses I saw on that post were, they were not good.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
read
pretty
one?
bad.
I don't have them. They're just
Aw.
in my memory. But
that. What? Give me one.
one of them was like,
I'll look it up if
your
you want.
mom's ashes are spread around. Shut up. You're losing game 5. Womp womp. that was one
Okay,
of them.
I will say I'm a Celtics fan, but I'm not that kind of Celtics.
Dude,
fan.
after
there
someone's
there were a
dead
lot of
mom-
hate comments about like someone's dead mom. Like that just shouldn't be brought up. And I've heard rumors of Celtics fans like cussing out Kyrie, calling him the N word and
Yeah.
everything. Like
no, that definitely does happen.
you can't do that. That
Kyrie's my
shouldn't be
favorite player of all
accepted.
time.
But my zero of the week. This is a sport, just a semi unpopular or not. No, it's popular, just not common.
Mhm.
Joey Chestnut, the 16-time winner of Nathan's
crazy,
hot dog
dude.
eating
I love Joey
championship. So he's got one less than the Celtics in rings. That's crazy. As he got banned, it's still up for review
Appeal.
because he's trying to get back.
Mhm.
But he got banned because he's pairing with Impossible Foods,
Yeah,
which is
I
a
saw that.
vegan food. And I guess
There's
that's-
just no reason for
that's
that.
crazy to ruin. Like, he's like an American hero at this point.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And now he can't compete. Like, who the hell's gonna watch a Nathan's eating
I
hot
know.
dog contest now?
Without
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut.
Oh,
He's
that's
the big
100%
name.
valid. Yeah.
That's literally the only person that I can name that does that.
Mm.
Seriously.
Well, I know they have the chugging contest as well,
Yeah.
and Badland Chugs does that. I've seen a couple
Oh,
clips.
is that fat ball guy?
Yeah, I've seen
That's
I've
all
seen
I
a couple clips. I won't lie, but let's move on to the winners or the
Hero.
heroes. Mine's kind of a hero and a zero at the same time. UFC 303 was supposed to be Conor McGregor versus Chandler. Conor McGregor got injured before a big
What was
press
the injury?
conference. They haven't come out and said what it was.
Yeah,
I
I don't
believe
know.
I haven't seen anything about
It's
it, and
kinda
I've
weird.
like been
It's really
trying to
sketchy.
stay up on it.
Yeah, that.
But Conor got hurt before a big press conference they were going to do in Ireland, which was already like
That would have been
everyone
huge.
was flipping out that wasn't happening, so that already wasn't a good sign. And then we just found out Conor cannot do that because of the injury, and Alex Pineda has stepped in, and
Good
that is
pronunciation.
Prohaska, right?
if
He's facing
Yeah,
your
yeah.
Prohaska.
that is a perfect replacement.
But it's a rematch, right?
It is a rematch. I believe Alex got the belt because he beat Yuri. This is going to be a great fight. They're both very good fighters, very talented.
One of the things, like, I support your hero on this is because when you, like, when it's that close to coming up, I mean, what, the fight's 3 weeks?
Yeah, you just never can find fighters that are
And
going to do that.
And then you find fighters that already have like a mini rivalry going on that are both ready at the same time. I mean, I could see that being a fight like UFC 306 sometime down the line.
Yeah.
So I think it was a very good choice for them.
I believe I saw something that Alex has to cut 22 pounds in 2 weeks.
Is that healthy though?
Definitely not.
That's kind of crazy.
He's done it before though. I've seen him do it.
Is that gonna like
you personally?
No, I've seen the videos. I've seen the videos of him cutting weight. He can do it. Alex Pineda always
we'll
does
see.
it.
My hero of the week, just recently, I believe this happened 1 or 2 days ago. Trevor Lawrence, $275 million, 5-year extension.
Are you saying this is a hero for him?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh well, yeah,
I mean, yeah.
$200
million.
I was gonna say 'cause
guaranteed.
earlier you were saying how this was a dumb move by the Jaguars. So you're saying this is good for Trevor?
Yeah.
It's good for anybody if you get $275 million or whatever.
$200 million guaranteed. That's insane.
You're set for
his
grandkids are set.
In my opinion, he's a fringe top 12 quarterback. Mm-hmm. And when you get paid that amount of money for doing nothing, that just raises the market.
Let's be real here.
That just raises the market for every single quarterback.
I know Jordan Love
it's
is
all
on
hype,
for
though. It's all hype.
100%.
It's also the fact that there's like a big space in between having, an average there's like 4 super good quarterbacks, everyone's average, and then everyone sucks. That's why kind of mid people are getting big deals like that. And then if you're young, it's another thing.
It's just crazy to see how I remember Patrick Mahomes, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, was it? Well,
he got paid.
That was not 5.
That was not 5.
How long
that was like 3 or 2.
What? No, I remember it. He got paid. He got paid a huge number, and everyone was freaking out because it was like one of those baseball contracts.
But now it's kind of cheap.
But now
honestly.
it's like, it's a great contract, and he's really set the market.
Oh yeah, and Jordan Love's up for a contract extension. Could be done this year. God knows how much that's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes got his contract in 2020.
So 4 years ago.
Okay.
$500 million for 10 years. And then
that's insane.
Yeah, but the guaranteed money is probably a little less.
I'm saying that's like a good deal for. That's a great deal for the Chiefs because not all of that's guaranteed.
Especially
a lot of the contracts today are guaranteed, most of it. But Colin, let's go to your hero.
All right, last but certainly not least, my hero is kind of oddly specific, but I'm going to be talking about the Celtics. But the Celtics centers, the big men, they've really been stepping up for Kristaps. I know he played a game.
Al Horford.
Yeah, Al Horford, Xavier Tillman. Kristaps did play a game, but he got hurt. And specifically, the defense they've been playing, the Celtics play a heavy switch defense. They switch literally every single pick and roll. So if you just turn on the NBA Finals, I guarantee you within the next 3 minutes of watching it, you'll find Al Horford on Luka Doncic. Arguably the best offensive player
in the league.
Yeah.
He is the deepest bag.
Oh, for sure. And it's like when you're seeing Al Horford, who's 39, I believe, center, like 6'11", probably on Luka Doncic, you're probably thinking like, oh god.
I mean, two of the things that make the Celtics amazing is first of all, like you're saying, the versatility in those guys that can guard like 1 through 5. I don't know if Al Horford can really guard.
He can't
guard
because
Kyrie.
Statistically, Al Horford has been the best defender on Luka Doncic. You can look it up.
The versatility is crazy, and the Celtics also have like all their players shoot like 38% from 3. That's why.
That's why we're in the finals and hopefully gonna win it.
That's crazy.
Hopefully,
dude, you got that's we'll be insane. Fine. You have like 6 guys that shoot 40+ from 3.
Yep. Well, wow. That's all Brad Stevens for you. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed.
And we will.
You're gonna say it?
No. I'll send it up
I was hoping I could say it this time.
All right, yeah.
All right, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you.